Josh Heupel, where do you think he was ranked among the SEC coaches recently in a column by Connor O'Gara that I like? I happen to like Connor. I think he does good work. I know that his columns are to get people clicking, get people talking like us, and we have to somewhat extent entered a mini list season like best stadiums in the SEC. Where we can debate those things, and we're not going to get caught up in that in the summer when everybody puts out those lists. But I did find this interesting. Have you seen yet where Josh Heupel is ranked among SEC coaches, Caleb?
By
Connor O'Gara.
I have heard, but I haven't actually read it. If that's fair to say.
All right, so it is.
You apparently get a 7th, right?
Yes. Okay, so my question for you is, where would you have him right now, and who would you have him behind? Not based off potential, but based off what you have actually seen, which you would
based
hang
off
your
results.
Yes.
So,
but a little potential.
I would have him up one spot higher. I think it's unfair to have him below Mark Stoops, if I'm being honest.
It's 3-0 against him.
Yeah, I don't know how he's below Mark Stoops, quite honestly. You know what? I'd have him at number 5. I'd have him ahead of Steve Sarkisian too. I would. So I'd have him at number 5. I get Kalen DeBoer. I'm not a believer in Kalen DeBoer, but he did take Washington to a national title game. You know what? No, I'd have him behind Lane Kiffin just because Lane Kiffin has had 2-11 and 2 seasons at Ole Miss at this point. I don't really factor USC against Lane Kiffin. I think that Lane Kiffin just took a really, really bad job and shouldn't have taken the USC job. And I don't think any coach could have won there. And that was just Lane Kiffin karma for taking a job that he shouldn't have taken.
Okay, so here's the ranking. I'm going to run the whole thing down. Jeff Lebby at Mississippi State. We just don't know enough about him yet. Clark Lee at Vanderbilt. Good Lord's Vanderbilt. You got to like the fact that Billy Napier, if you're a Tennessee fan, at 14. Sam Pittman, Arkansas. Let's all root for him, but he's limited. Shane Beamer, South Carolina. Brent Venables, Oklahoma. It seems a little bit low after the season they had, but I'm not high on him at all. Mike Elko at Texas A&M. I would have him higher based off potential. Again, we're going to what they have achieved to some point, and this is Connor's list, not mine. Eli Drinkwitz, Mizzou. Hugh Freeze, Auburn. Then Josh Heupel, Tennessee at 7. Then Stoops, Sarkisian, as you mentioned. Lane Kiffin, number 4. Kalen DeBoer is number 3. Brian Kelly, number 2. Kirby Smart, number 1. Now, let me tell you why I think that Heupel will be a top 3 coach by the end of the Nico era, as long as he doesn't leave school early to win 58 Super Bowls, which is what Caleb Calhoun believes will be the case.
Why not 59?
That's right. I mean, there's as many Super Bowls as there's been to this point in our lives. I think he'll be at the end of the Nico era, and I'm sidestepping a little bit. I think he'll be tied for 3, so I think he'll be a top 3 coach. And my column is on offthehooksports.com. I think at the end of the Nico era, it'll still be Kirby Smart, number 1. It'll be Steve Sarkisian, number 2. Because, and I don't say this lightly, I've been told he's sober. I think he's a very good offensive mind. I think Steve Sarkisian and Kobe Bryant actually explains this about himself. He's very good at everything, but he's not elite at everything. So Kobe will tell you he wasn't elite quickness, he wasn't elite speed, he wasn't elite jumper. Steve Sarkisian, I don't think is an elite offensive mind. I don't think he's an elite head coach. I don't think he's an elite NIL guy, but I think he's very, very good at all those things, which might be better. I think that you just don't want to have an incredible deficiency in your coaching approach. And then I think what will be tied for 3rd will be Josh Heupel and Lane Kiffin. And I'm not picking those out there to get you guys rowdy. I just think that they'll both have that type of success. I think Lane's will be more up and down in the next 2 years. I think he could have an 11-win season, and he could have an 8. I think that Heupel will have 2 10-win seasons in the next 2 years. So you can judge that however you like, but that would be my top 3. What would be your top 3 at the end of the Nico era?
I agree. Kirby Smart will be number one because I think you and I agree. Even if Josh Heupel wins every game over the next 2 years and back-to-back national titles, could he? I still don't know if he could surpass Kirby Smart because Kirby Smart has that extra SEC title and just has done it since 2016. It would just be too hard.
Yeah, and he's probably still going to rank ahead of him against recruiting. So if you looked forward, you would say well, Kirby's still going to keep rolling. We don't know. Nobody knows if Heupel will roll without Nico.
But I'm going to say if he's not number 2 in 2 years, Dave, it's a disappointment because I'm going to tell you why he should be number 2.
Mm-hmm.
If Heupel wins a national championship over the next 2 years, he's automatically a number 2, right? Ahead of Sarkisian and ahead of Lane Kiffin and ahead of Brian Kelly.
If he wins a national title, yes, he is definitely number 2.
Then he's going to be number 2 because he's going to win a national title with Nico. And that's just going to happen. You are way higher on Steve Sarkisian than I am. I think that Arch Manning made a mistake for quarterback development going to Steve Sarkisian. I think Steve Sarkisian is going to be featured on a lot of our football IQ segments next year with John Adams because he already was on it. He called his dumb in-game decisions cost Texas in the playoff game against Washington. And Kalen DeBoer was stupid in that game too with some of his decisions. So his decisions were stupid. I shouldn't call him stupid. His decisions were stupid with almost giving Texas a chance to come back. And so because of that, I think Steve Sarkisian's going to be an easy one to get past. I think Lane Kiffin's going to be an easy one to get past because, like you said, he's going to have a roller coaster. In 3 years, there will be a clear-cut top 3 in SEC coaches. Kirby Smart, Josh Heupel, and Brian Kelly, because I think Brian Kelly will win a national championship because I think that it's very, very, very easy to win a national championship in Louisiana. Or at LSU.
Here's another thing. You said something earlier that I want to dispute for a second. And I know they're kind of thinking this over at Tennessee just a little bit. Could Nico be a senior one day? I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility. I'll tell you why. It's brought to you by the Hemp House, the premier hemp dispensary online with a wide variety, great selection, and strict standards to ensure you only receive the best in CBD or Delta products. Hemp House Chat with 2Ts.com. Hemp House Chat with 2Ts.com. I was driving in Knoxville yesterday, as a matter of fact. I was driving out in West Knoxville, and I see. By the way, congratulations on the University of Tennessee, Caleb. They picked two of their best volunteers to be on billboards: Cooper Mays and Jacob Warren. Who else did that?
Nice.
Who else did that? Huh?
What other place did that? What other place features Cooper Mays and Jacob Warren?
I don't know, like an OTH thing or something. Maybe off 6 sports. If Nico is as good as we believe, and you and I both believe it, maybe to varying degrees, he's going to be on every billboard, dude. He's going to be a star, and then you got year 2 to be another star. If he wins a championship, like you say, look up for me while I'm making this argument. Who was a mid-round pick in the NFL at quarterback last year?
Hendon Hooker.
No. When I say mid-first round.
20. Okay, mid-first round quarterback pick. I would say, see Bryce Young, CJ Stroud, Anthony Richardson went 4th. There was no mid-first round pick. Okay, wait. I can give you Will Levis at 33rd, high second.
Okay, let's take Will Levis and find out what
Nico is not better than Will Levis. That's the problem.
No. I agree. But let's say worst case slip for whatever reason. They could find something wrong with his knee, like a meniscus partial tear. And anyway, so find out what what his contract was. Because there's a hope at Tennessee. The guy's already getting $2 million for that 1 year.
Final year. But Will Levis's contract
work with me. There's a hope that more NIL money could come because he's that good. And depending on who's going to draft him, much like we saw John Elway and Eli Manning do, they bucked who was going to draft them. He has the ability to come back to college football. Now, here's the difference in why these numbers could get closer to lining up. I know that he's going to make more money in the NFL. Caleb's looking up those numbers now. I know that contract's going to be bigger. But don't forget the thing that we haven't talked about because NIL came along in a couple of years. These insurance contracts that they get, the insurance coverage will offset anything he could have made. So let's not take the number one guy, because you're not going to pass up being the number one guy in the NFL draft, and you're not going to pass up being a top 5 guy. But what's Will Levis money, just to give me an idea?
It's 4 years, $9.5 million total. So he's making a little over $2 million per year. Probably about $2.3 million for a year, I'd say.
Guys, that's doable. You are entering a period in NIL. Start to change your thinking, where first of all, you're paying guys to stay as much to come. And second, Nico's already making $2 million. So what
Dave,
is, yes.
If Nico is not a top 5 pick by 2026, Josh Heupel will be the biggest disappointment in the history of college football.
Okay, that's a little hyperbole for me, but let's play that game too. Okay, so Bryce Young was the number 1 pick, right?
Correct.
What did Bryce Young get? Can you look that up?
I just saw the money. It was like absurd, but
let's see it. Let's see.
NIL cannot compete with it. Bryce Young has a
hold on. Let's okay. Go ahead.
Bryce Young has a 4-year, $38 million contract, an average annual salary of $9.488 million.
Okay.
Now, you think NIL can compete with that?
Hold on. You say it's not even possible. However, and you're not going to pass up being the number 1 pick in the draft for a lot of reasons, but much like Cooper Mace was going to be a 4th to 7th round pick. That's a minimum of $950,000. He didn't get that from NIL money to stay at Tennessee. If you're Nico and you're coming off a championship, as you so optimistically believe, is it not worth the program, the city of Knoxville, the state, to at least make it debatable, especially if it's a team you don't want to go to? I don't know who that team would be. I'm the one who ripped the Lions, and now they've had a pretty good year. So I'm not going to rip and pick any one particular team. But if you're John Elway and Eli Manning, there were teams that you didn't want to go to and you used leverage. Is it out of the realm of possibility to think that you could get to $6 to $8 million and match a $10 million a year contract to say, hey, stay here? You know these dudes. I don't think that's going to be out of the realm of possibility in 2 or 3 years based off people I talk to that know NIL better than me. I don't think this is crazy at all. You started wait a second. You started the conversation thinking I'm crazy. Now you're thinking, are you not?
I would say that I think that I would consider opening the checkbook. I don't know if Josh Heupel and them would, though, because what if they would rather have less money and have George McIntyre and other talent around George McIntyre by that point?
That is a great argument. That's great. I mean, I can't argue with that, but I'm just saying, I think you could get the dollars together when we get 2 years down the line. I think they could do that a little bit closer than you seem to believe. And that's fair, but we're looking at 10 million compared to 2 million. And that's a big difference. I mean, that's a significant difference. No doubt about that.